Hi, this is Jillian, and this is a speed paint of a fan art piece I did for Sonic in honor of the new movie design. I'm not entirely sure that I believe it's a new movie design. I personally think they had this as their original movie design and then did that monstrosity as clickbait. But I don't know that we'll ever be able to prove that, and I am probably wrong. But this version, it looks too polished with the time that they have, in my personal opinion, to have fixed it. Um, Whereas the older design, even if you don't take the styling of Sonic into account, it didn't look finished. And I know there's a certain point where CG characters don't look finished, and sometimes the first trailers that they show are at that stage. But I don't think that's what happened. But that's not what I'm here to talk to y'all about today. I'm here to talk to y'all about how pop culture and the meme culture has affected our speech patterns and stuff. I can no longer say that I'm a quote unquote nice girl anymore because that means I'm emotional and that I'm clingy. I'm not those things. Instead, I say that I'm polite and that I'm an old-fashioned type and that I'm a nerd, which probably none of those things help me in the relationship game, but I figure if a guy doesn't want me for who I really am, they are not worth my time, honey. As RuPaul from RuPaul's Drag Race says, if you can't love yourself, how can you expect anyone to love you back? I'm pretty sure I'm not quoting that verbatim, but I love RuPaul. I love the Drag Race. I haven't seen it in years, but me and a friend was obsessed with that show for the longest time when it was on, I think it was on Bravo, and then they moved it to a channel that I don't have, and so I sort of have lost track of it. Speaking of drag queens, I feel like Disney missed out on casting one as the live action Ursula. They picked Megan McCarthy, which is a fine, okay choice. But a drag queen would have been perfect because the original one was based on a drag queen. And there's one, her name is Latrice Royale, I think. She would have been perfect. It wouldn't have even have to have been her, but I'm just using her as an example. She has the body, the voluptuous body. She can move. She can dance. I'm not sure about her singing voice. I haven't really heard anything from her, but she's good enough at lip syncing that it would have been better than what Emma Watson did at Belle's Beauty and the Beast type thing. So I'm just saying, not hating on Emma Watson, but that auto-tune, honey, Lord. Anyway, another pop culture thing that I feel kind of sorry for the women who are named actually Karen. Not all of them are actual quote unquote Karens. And I feel like all of us have a little bit of a Karen in us deep down. I could share some stories about myself that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I felt like I had to pull that side of me out in order to do what was right. But I don't want to necessarily get into it with this video. But if y'all want me to share that sort of stories, I totally will. They're not that bad. I didn't like cuss anyone out, but I used my like mean voice, which my authority voice, which I don't like using. I normally talk like this all the time, like seriously. Another thing about modern slash pop culture, like here in the US there's like a rule about cigarettes. If you have like a cigarette, a cigar, any drug paraphernalia type stuff in your movie, it's an automatic PG-13 if I'm not mistaken, unless they've changed those rules. And the same could be said for like the F word. You can say it like a bunch of times before you'll get like that R rating. And I don't know, I feel like that should be changed a little bit. Only because like there was this movie, it's called The Nutty Professor 2. It's just a bad movie in general. Like the first Nutty Professor was okay. It was just a dull, boring movie in general, but even if you took that out and just listened to the language and the suggestiveness, like, I did not feel comfortable sitting in that living room watching that movie with my family. And I was plenty old enough to be watching a PG-13 movie. Everyone there was old enough to watch a PG-13 movie. But it was very crude language. And I'm not like super sensitive to crude language, but it was really bad. Like, I feel like that movie deserved an R rating just on the language alone. But I feel like in general the US ratings for movies are like kind of messed up. They've been messed up for a long time. And I'm not sure how one would fix it, but The Night Professor definitely deserved an R. Like, that number 2, it deserved that R. I don't know, if y'all want me to start doing movie reviews and what I would rate it as, let me know. I might do that for a few, at least some of those that I like enjoy, or if I like really remember it, then I might. I don't know, that sounds like it might be fun. Another thing, I personally prefer like a goofy, cheesy movie like Thor Ragnarok, or there's like one starring Dwayne Watson, The Rock, where it's like this tower. I think it's called like Inferno or something like that. It's more or less recent. And I prefer the cheesy ones over the long, boring movies like Shazam, which, like, if y'all haven't seen that movie, it's really good. I prefer it over like Superman Returns and like some of the Batman movies and the Joker. Like, we don't need 100% like serious all the time, folks. Like, these cinematic things that are drawn out are great for sometimes, but not all the time. We live in too serious of a world nowadays with all the shootings and whatnot. Anyway, have a nice day. Subscribe. Bye.